Welcome back to the channel, folks. Gonna do something a little different today. This is a bit of a shout out to one of my favorite YouTube channels, Steve1989 off MRE Info. If you're not familiar with Steve, he eats military rations, both new, and not just military rations, but all prepackaged rations, both new and old. And by old, I've seen the guy eat canned food from World War II, dried meat from like the 1800s. So I'll put the link to his channel down in the description because it's pretty entertaining. Anyway, today I'm gonna have this Humanitarian Daily Ration. Get my cup of coffee. These don't come with a drink. If you don't know what a Humanitarian Daily Ration is, it's something that we drop all over war zones and impoverished areas all over the world. It's essentially the same as an MRE, a meal ready to eat. It's all prepackaged, no heating required, eat it right out of the container foods. The difference is these are vegetarian. They're also kosher and halal. The idea being that pretty much anybody in the world that you drop this to can eat it. And the little cartoon shows the guy just eating it out of the pouch with a spoon. You don't have to heat them up. Depending on what the main course is in this, I will actually heat one or more of them up by boiling it, because these don't come with a ration heater the way an MRE does. So I have a pot of water boiling on the stove, depending on what the mains are. Some of them are bean salads and things that you could eat cold just fine, and some of them are things like beans and potatoes or whatever. And if it's something that's more of a stew or whatever, I'll probably heat it up by throwing it in boiling water for about 5 minutes in the pouch. So let's get this open and see what's inside it. I don't know if these are pull open or if you have to cut them. Pull open. I can do this without knocking my camera over. Looks like we've got one main is peas and tomato sauce. So yeah, I'll heat that one up. What do we got here? This looks to be dessert. Shortbread cookie. Some crackers. Vegetable crackers. Looks like an oatmeal cookie. Some peanut butter for the crackers. Here's one of the main courses. Yep, peas and tomato sauce. What do we got here? Oh, toaster pastry. Buttery flaky crust. Strawberry jam. And the other main course, which is vegetable barley stew. So I think I'll actually heat both of these up. You can eat them cold, obviously, but it's going to be more palatable if I heat it up. And this is the accessory pack. In the words of Steve1989, let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Now, I'm going to go toss these mains into some boiling water, and then we'll enjoy we'll get into the crackers and the breakfast pastries and whatnot. So while our main courses are boiling, we're going to start with breakfast. And I probably should have mentioned, the other main difference between one of these and an MRE is that an MRE is designed to be one meal for a soldier in a battlefield, in battle conditions, which you burn a lot of calories, and 2 or 3 of them, preferably 3 of them, making up your entire day's food. A Humanitarian Daily Ration is designed to be, as you can see, this bag contains 1 day's complete food requirement for one person, and then it says that again in Spanish and I believe French underneath it. This is, I think, 2,900 calories, unless I'm mistaken. And that's not actually enough food for an active person, but these are designed to be dropped to people who are probably starving and who aren't going to eat that, 4,000 calories in a day. That would probably make them sick. So this is designed to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so it breaks down. So, I mean, you have a toaster pastry, basically a Pop-Tart, which is your breakfast. And then you've got 2 main courses and 2 cookie desserts. So we're going to start off with our Pop-Tart, our Got my cup of coffee already. These don't come with drinks, is the other big difference between these and actual MRE. So we got a brown sugar toaster pastry unfrosted. So, interesting. That didn't open so well. Oh, it's actually a Pop-Tart. I don't know if you can see that if I move it just the right way. It's a Pop-Tart in commercial packaging that then has been vacuum sealed inside a retort pouch. It's vacuum sealed down so hard that the little flap on the back of it is hard to find. Come on, there we go. One or two? Oh, it's actually two that have been vacuum sealed, vacuum packed so hard that they squished themselves together. Interesting. I don't remember the last time I saw an unfrosted cinnamon Pop-Tart. But, I mean, having had one, I pretty much know what to expect here. Should have thrown that in the boiling water too and warmed it up. This may come as a big surprise, but it tastes exactly like a cinnamon Pop-Tart. I actually like the unfrosted ones. Now, aside from being weirdly compressed from being packed in a vacuum-packed pouch, oh, you can get it apart, but I mean, they're pretty brittle. The only difference, I mean, that's the only difference. There's nothing special about this food. The pouches are multi-layer packaging. It's plastic, aluminum foil layers to keep things fresh, and then it's under a vacuum, so there's no air in there to let things degrade. It's not stale. I can't remember when the manufacture date on this ration was. I don't remember. I think it said they're only 2 or 3 years old. And these can last they're supposed to last, I think, 10 years. They can last even longer under good conditions. Stored under 80 degrees. But it's perfectly fresh Pop-Tart. Like I said, so it's compressed, and it's actually kind of cool. It's almost more like a cookie. These two Pop-Tarts mashed together. I mean, they're really hard because they've been compressed. Any moisture in them was, evenly distributed through compression by vacuum. Okay, not bad. Our main courses ought to be just about done by now. I'm going to boil them for 5 minutes just to make sure they're hot. Let's take it on over to lunch. Well, I screwed up and my camera wasn't recording when I opened up the accessory packet, but pretty basic. We've got a spoon to eat with. It's got a nice long handle so you can eat right out of the packaging. I'm going to put it on the tray so you can see it. Comes with a book of matches, which is interesting. It could be handy in some survival situation. Salt, pepper, crushed red pepper, because remember, we're throwing a lot of these around other countries, and our food is really bland to most other countries. We got a wet nap to clean yourself up with after you eat, and a couple of containers of things of sugar, which we don't have any coffee or anything in here, so don't really need it, but and a napkin. Might as well put one of these sugars in my coffee. It's in here, might as well use it. I mean, if you were going for You know, if you're starving, going for every bit of calories, you'd eat literally everything in this. You wouldn't, other than the napkins. Nothing special there. My coffee now tastes like it has sugar in it. So, let's work backwards here. Get out our dessert. Ooh, nice looking cookie. Nice big cookie. I'm going to eat one cracker with lunch and have the other one with my quote-unquote dinner. These MRE crackers, most of these components are the same stuff that comes in an MRE. They're pretty fragile, but it's basically 4 saltines stuck together, so they haven't been broken apart. Got some strawberry jam that we're going to put on part of that cracker. I think I might have some of it with my food. And we got our food. Okay, we got a tear notch at each side. It's interesting, the cartoon shows the guy eating it from the top of the pouch, but the tear notch tears open the side of the pouch. That's pretty good. Ooh, smells good. Smells like good tomato sauce. Smells a little bit like chili sauce, actually. I think actually I'm going to drop this in a bowl so that it doesn't end up all over this tray. So when they say peas and tomato sauce, what they mean is black-eyed peas, which I know are really a bean. I mean, peas are really a legume anyway, but it's not. When I was reading peas and tomato sauce, I was thinking that's a little odd. I was thinking of, you know, sweet peas, sugar peas. See if we can break this in half on the scores. Oh, look at that, it almost did. They don't usually. We have this part with our main course, and we're going to put jelly on the other part. Jam. Is it jam or jelly? It says it's strawberry jam. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it is jam. Look at it all. It's pretty solidly jellied up jam. I don't know if I'd call this jam. Let's see if it has. When I think of strawberry, I mean, is it strawberry? Strawberry jam. I'm thinking it's got seeds in it and stuff. Now let's see how this is. Or I pass judgment. Whoops. It's jam. It doesn't have seeds in it, but it's not jelly. It's not bad. The crackers are nice and crunchy. They're not salted crackers. MRE crackers used to be salted until I think the 80s, and those ones are way better. I remember those. We used to eat those all the time back in the 90s. But this is basically like a cross between a saltine and a wheat thin. It's not as light and flaky as a saltine, and it doesn't have any salt on it, but it's not as heavy and crunchy as a wheat cracker. But it's supposed to be a vegetable cracker, but it's, you know, it is what it is. It's pretty tasty though. Yeah. Let's try this main course. This is just black-eyed peas in tomato sauce. It doesn't have anything else in it. Okay, that is honestly not too bad. Yeah. I was going to say something along the lines of if I was starving, I'd sure be happy for it, but I mean, it really isn't bad. I'm trying to think of what this sauce reminds me of. It's tomato sauce, but it's not like spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce. It's more like Like it has a little chili powder in it. It just says garlic powder, paprika, salt, spices, quote unquote, and sugar. It does. I think it's got a little bit of chili pepper in it. As it does, it reminds me of chili sauce as opposed to tomato sauce. So it's good with the crackers. Do this. Yeah, this one came with one package of crackers, and it came with the toaster pastries. Some of the menus, and there's several different menus, they're all vegetarian, but the side dishes vary just a little bit. Some of the menus only have one package of crackers and come with the toaster pastries or a fruit smoothie, and some come with 2 packages of crackers. I mean, when people think about shelf-stable foods, things that you can eat out of a pouch, survival food, quote-unquote, most people that haven't tried a lot of them would just assume they're gross. But, oh yeah, it'll keep you alive, but man, you don't want to eat it. I mean, honestly, I've made far worse than this at home. I've had people serve me worse than this and be very proud of the fact that they made it. This is really not bad. It's really not. Oh, you know what? Let's give it just a touch. Where is that? Of the crushed red pepper. It doesn't need any salt, really. I might give it just a touch. But I'm going to say it doesn't need salt. But be careful with crushed red pepper. You can go way overboard with this stuff. Use what came in the packaging, I guess. Just a little salt, and give it some pepper. I'll save some for the other main course. I'm not a huge fan of spicy food, so I didn't dump in the whole thing of red pepper. Oh, that definitely helps. I mean, it wasn't bad before, that just makes it a little more interesting. But yeah, I cannot stress enough that it's not horrible. If it was gross, I wouldn't finish it. I mean, this thing was $12 or something. It's not like it's all expense that I'm gonna, it was an experiment. I'd never eaten one of these. And part of it was trying to see if I wanted to order a couple of cases of them just to keep around, because they're really good for blackouts and any kind of survival situation. I mean, they don't require refrigeration. You don't have to heat them up. You can just eat them. They'll keep you alive for a day at a time, and they're cheap. If you order a whole case of them, they're like $8 each. When you think about what comes in one, 2 main courses, 2 desserts, crackers, spread. I mean, it's actually not bad value for 2,900 calories worth of food. Is it the healthiest food out there? No, absolutely not. Probably better than eating at McDonald's. But it's about what it will do, which is remain edible and palatable for a decade at room temperature. Yeah, I was actually not expecting to enjoy this. It's really not bad. I'm eating the whole bowl by choice. That was not bad at all. Finish off my cracker and then we'll try that cookie. mean, that jam is just commercial strawberry jam. Just like anything you get out of a jar or out of a little pouch on the table at a restaurant. Now that we've had a very pleasant lunch, let's try this cookie. This is the shortbread cookie. And if they're made right, I actually really like shortbread cookies. That's an interesting texture for a shortbread cookie. Let's see how it is. That's a good cookie. Now, excuse me, talking with a mouthful. One of the things that always used to surprise me when I'd get military MREs, used to be able to get them at the Army Navy store for like $5 each. They had a big box of them in the corner, an open case. You could just pick whatever menu you wanted. You bring them home, and usually the main courses, these were like 80s and 90s MREs, weren't fantastic. They weren't horrible, but they were, you know. But then the desserts, so the side dishes and the desserts, a lot of times the side dishes were tasty things, but you'd get, you know, some, the cheese spread and the salted crackers were good for the side dishes, and some of the desserts, like the chocolate covered oatmeal cookies and some of the cookie bars and things like that, were just epic. They were literally some of the best prepackaged cookies you'd ever eat. And this is literally just a great big jumbo sugar cookie. It's a shortbread cookie. It says shortbread cookie, but I think of them more in the flaky, crunchy kind of thing, and this is more of a sugar cookie consistency. It's crunchy. It's not a soft, chewy sugar cookie, but it's, you know, I call this a sugar cookie. The top of it, the way it's made. I'm sure if they're saying shortbread cookie, it's technically a shortbread cookie. Yeah, that's really quite good. I'm actually going to save the other half of this because after eating that whole main, I'm really not all that hungry right now. And that's a good cookie. I'm going to have it later with another cup of coffee. Okay. It's a couple hours later. That lunch was actually pretty filling since I had breakfast and lunch at the same time. I ate 2 Pop-Tarts and then ate that whole serving of beans and tomato sauce. Which, honestly, that really tasted like chili. I mean, I think that was the whole idea. It was basically seasoned like chili, and it was black-eyed peas. So it was some chili without meat, essentially. It wasn't too bad. So now I'm gonna go ahead and eat the dinner that I set it here. Got another package of sugar. Might as well. I got another cup of coffee going here. Use that. Usually put sugar in my coffee, but whatever, I've got sugar here, so I'm gonna use it. Not bad. Yeah. Everything out. This is an oatmeal cookie. Very nice looking cookie. Ooh, smells good too. It's got some nice spices to it. I got the other cracker. I'm going to use half of it with the main course here. This is the, what is it? Vegetable barley stew. And we'll see how this is. Looks like it's again in a tomato-based sauce, I think. Smells like a tomato-based sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and put half of this cracker right in it. And the crumbs. peanut butter up in case it's oily. Roasted peanuts, hydrogenated vegetable oils. Yeah, these have hydrogenated oils in them, preservatives, all the good stuff. Let me open this thing. I don't see tear notches on it. Oh, there we go. Of course, the peanut butter gives this vegetarian-based meal a pretty good hit of protein, even though the mains have beans in them. This is one of the ways they're getting extra protein, I'm sure. Let's try it, see what kind of peanut butter they've got. A mess. Oh, pretty good. Tastes like Skippy, I think. Let's try this vegetable barley stew. You can see it's a tomato-based stew. There's a lot of barley in it. Well, it's not bad. It has a lot less seasoning to it than the peas and tomato sauce. Here's the ingredients list if you want to pause that. Water, barley, tomato paste, potatoes. Yeah. I mean, the vegetables are potatoes, which aren't really a vegetable, and tomato paste. But this has 310 calories versus the other one's 280, I believe it was. This one could definitely use some seasoning. Let's go ahead and add a fair amount of red pepper to this one. You got red peppers, you gotta give it a minute too for it to hydrate. You can add a little black pepper too. And a little salt. And a little salt. Yeah, that made it more interesting. That's not bad. And it's primarily barley in a tomato paste sauce. But there are some pieces of potato in it, which surprisingly are not massively overcooked. They still have a little bite to them. Yeah, overall, especially for the price of these, because they're really cheap, they're less than $10 each by the case. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend one of these, as a camping food, survival food, whatever, if you're not hung up on them not having meat in it. And there are plenty of options that do have meat, but they are more expensive. The MRE's actual made by the same company, so Patco and 2 or 3 other companies that make military MREs, are more like $12 to $15 each. And you can get something called a first strike ration, which is actually 3 meals, sides, snacks, drinks. It's a lot of food. And I've seen those as low as $24, I think, shipped. I was looking the other day on eBay. And when you think about it, $24, it's a bag that contains an entire day's, easily a day's worth of food. There's quite a bit of food. There are 3 main entrees in there, a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, plus multiple crackers and snacks and candy and desserts and drink mixes, protein shakes, and all kinds of good stuff. Coffee, tea, everything you need, basically, for an entire day worth of not just main course, but stuff that's actually tasty and interesting to eat. You know, snacks to eat on your walks, and gum and things like that. I frequently come with energy gel, protein bars, like energy shakes. Cheers. And of course, there are freeze-dried survival foods and camping foods, which can be really tasty stuff. They do tend overall, I think, to taste better than the retort pouch irradiated foods, because they tend to be nice, freshly made foods that are then freeze-dried. If you rehydrate them, you know, you get basically that food again. But the issue with those is that you have to have access to a fair amount of clean water to rehydrate, you know, a main course of spaghetti and meatballs or something. You need something like a cup of water or whatever, which doesn't sound like a lot until you have to carry it, you know, along with all the water you need to drink. So these tend to use low moisture, high caloric fat content foods. So you don't have to have water to consume it. That's one of the requirements for an MRE or for these rations, is it needs to be able to be consumed without water. There's no reconstituting. You don't need water to make it edible, and you don't need to drink water to wash it down. You can just eat this. Your body can process this without additional water. It's a low moisture content, but it has enough moisture in it. Yeah, it's really not bad. I like the peas and tomato sauce better, but this is pretty good too. Really good with some bacon in it. I did go just a touch overboard with the red pepper flakes, but it's all good. Well, all right. Yeah, that was really not half bad. Now to try that cookie. This dessert is the one I was actually really looking forward to try. I've heard good things about it. Still gotta have my cup of coffee there. That's a rugged, fairly rugged cookie. I see a lot of oatmeal in it. I do like a decent oatmeal cookie. Yep. Oh, that's a good cookie. That's better than the shortbread cookie. Shortbread cookie was decent, but this is actually really good. It's very sweet. It's got a nice bit of like cinnamon and maybe a little nutmeg in it. You know, it's got like almost like a pumpkin pie spices. It's like a spicy cookie. texture's nice. And both these cookies just taste like some kind of a... This one actually tastes way more like almost like a homemade cookie. The other one tasted like something you'd get out of a box. It was a good cookie, but it tasted like it would come out of a, you know, paper bag with a little clear window on the front of it on a store shelf. But it was, you know, a good cookie. But this is actually a pretty decent cookie. I'm not just disappointed. I prefer a chewy oatmeal cookie, but this one is, the taste is good enough and the texture is good enough. Chewy is hard to do in a low moisture content food. And that's one of the ways they keep this stuff from spoiling, is by lowering the moisture content quite a lot in it. Pardon me while I eat my cookie. So overall, yes, this is definitely a win. I'm not disappointed. I paid $12. The shipping was free. Obviously, since my breakfast and lunch filled me up that much, I could certainly have gotten by a whole day on this amount of food. I'll probably eat some more later on, something, but I don't necessarily need to. You know, this filled me up pretty good, and you know, it's been a couple of hours since I ate the other parts of it, and you know, I could certainly, unless I was, you know, on a long hike or something, I could definitely get by on that. But in general, yep, good value, decent food. Maybe I'll get another one of the different menu and see how that stacks up. More than likely, I'm going to do something different. I might grab one of the First Strike rations, actually, because I've been looking forward to eating one of those, because most of the food in those is supposed to be pretty good, from what I hear. And they come with a lot of good snacks and candy and things like that. I have a bit of a sweet tooth, so thanks for watching. I'm going to finish my cookie and my coffee, and we'll see you again next time. Have a good one.